So it's time to plan your Alaska cruise. Awesome. It's a great place to go visit. But there's a few things you're going to need to know as you're planning your Alaska journey. Stay tuned. Hi everyone, Rob from Sea-kers, and today we are doing our Alaska primer / everything you need to know when you're planning your Alaska cruise. My wife and I love visiting Alaska, and we are hoping that you are going to have a wonderful visit too. But in order to have that wonderful experience in Alaska, this is the video for you. This primer is going to help you navigate through all the stormy waters that you're going to have to go through as you are planning your Alaska journey. It's important to know all of these things. It will help you save money. It will help you narrow down what choices you want to make when you're planning your cruise. And finally, it will help you understand all the ins and outs of excursions and how to pack, all the things you're going to need to know all about Alaska. The reason why I'm doing this right now is we have people getting ready to do their 2023 Alaska journey. If you're thinking about Alaska, you're thinking about Alaska for 2024 right now because you want to plan early for Alaska, and this is what this is for, right? This is going to help you plan your journey to Alaska for 2024. So buckle up. We got a lot of information to give you folks, and we're going to start talking about the season of Alaska and when is the best time to go visit and when you can save a little bit of money. So now let's talk about the seasons of cruising in Alaska. You have 3 specific seasons. Some people usually just call them 2. They call them the shoulder season and the high season. I like to add an intermediary one. I call it the secondary shoulder. It's just because you do find better pricing during this time. It's not as good as the normal shoulder season, but it's definitely not as expensive as the high season. So the early shoulder season is late April to early May. The late shoulder season is from end of September to early October. That's the normal typical shoulder season where you will find the best pricing. The secondary shoulder season that I like to call is where you're talking about mid-May to early June. You get some good pricing at that time. You also get some good pricing at end of August to early September. That's my secondary shoulder. And finally, you have the high season, right? We're talking about end of June, all throughout July, and into early August. That is the high season. That's when you have the best temperatures. That's when you have the least amount of rainfall. That's when you have the most amount of sunlight. You also do have the most amount of people going too. So if you're kind of crowd averse, think about the shoulder seasons. The other cool thing about the late shoulder season, if you're on some of the last cruises to go to Alaska, you can get some really good deals at the shop because Alaska, being a seasonal cruise location, they close down once the cruise ships go away. So a lot of these store merchants want to get their last bit of income during this period of time, and you tend to find some really good sales. So if you're a shopper and you're thinking about a shoulder season, think about the late shoulder season. Now that we got the seasons out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the cruise lines that do visit Alaska. A lot of cruise lines go to Alaska now. You have a huge amount of choice. You have your mainstream lines, your Carnival, your Norwegian Cruise Lines, your Royal Caribbeans. They all go to Alaska. Then you have your premier lines, Celebrity, Princess. Princess has a huge footprint in Alaska. Holland America, another premier line that has a huge footprint in Alaska with tons of ships. And you even have your luxury lines. You got your Vikings, you got your Seabourns. You have all of them there too. Regent Seven Seas, they go to Alaska. You're going to see most of your family, multi-generational type of vacations to Alaska in the mainstream lines. Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, Carnival, that's where you're going to see them. You're going to see a lot more couples on the premier lines. But I'm not saying these premier lines are not family friendly. You will see kids there. Matter of fact, Celebrity has one of the best kids programs for Alaska. They do a lot of STEM, they do a lot of nature stuff, and what better place to do nature type of fun stuff with kids than in Alaska? So don't think that the premier lines, you're not going to see any kids. You're going to see kids. They're going to be there. It's just not as prevalent as the mainstream lines. Now, if you really want to get further away from kids, you're going to look at the luxury lines. They are really tailor-made to couples. They do curated type of individuals, type of touring for Alaska. They have a lot more included in their packages. It's a completely different type of an Alaska experience. And if that's what you want, a curated experience in Alaska, you might want to look at the luxury lines. So another thing that's going to affect your cost with Alaska is your choice of ship. Your newer ships, the ones that have a lot more things to do, they're going to cost more money when you go to Alaska. And a lot of them also have things that are very indoor focused, indoor pools, seaplexes, beautiful observation lounges for Alaska. Those ships, they're just going to cost you more money. Depending upon your line, you got a lot of choices. Some of them are older ships if you want to save some money. Some of them are newer ships that give you more amenities that will kind of keep you well entertained in the cold Alaska nights. So think about that. What do you want from your ship? What are you planning on doing in the evening? What you want your kids to be doing if on sea days? Sometimes you might want to pay the extra freight for a newer ship because of the amenities that you get in that ship, and it would work with your cruising companions and what you're looking to do when you're in Alaska. So as you can see already, there's a lot of things that you're worried about or things you have to think about when you're planning Alaska. And I haven't even gone through them all yet. So I would highly recommend using a good travel agent to help you navigate these waters, because they are a feather in your cap for sure when you're planning out an Alaska vacation. There's so many moving parts. Definitely think about a good travel agent. We here at Cruise Seekers can help you with that. Feel free to contact us at any time. We would love to help you plan your Alaska vacation. Wow, a lot of information, right? Well, if you like information about cruising, you definitely want to think about subscribing to us and turning on that little notification bell. And we do a ton of these type of videos that will help you make good decisions when you're planning your cruise vacation. Different videos about blogs of cruise vacations, different videos about reviews, ship reviews, specialty dining reviews, breakdowns of drink packages, you name it, we do it here. If you like cruise content, think about subscribing and turn that notification bell on. We would really appreciate it, and it's so important for us. And hey, you get an added benefit. You become a member of the Cruise Seekers crew. Think about subscribing, turn that notification bell on. Thank you so much. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about with Alaska and how it can affect your pricing is your itinerary. There's two main types of itinerary that you're going to find. You're going to find your one-way, so either going northbound or southbound, and you're going to find your round trips. Round trips are usually going to leave out of Seattle or Vancouver. Your one-ways are going to either leave from the ports near Anchorage, or they're going to leave from Vancouver in general. So the one-ways, they tend to be less expensive. Main reason being is because the price of airfare is going to be much higher when you're flying back home or to Anchorage. Just the way it works, folks. They're going to get you one way or the other. You're either going to pay the cruise line or you're going to pay the airline. One of the two. Now, the round trips, those are great too. From Seattle, we tend to use that one. But the interesting thing about that one, you're not going to get as far north as, say, the northbound and the southbound ones. The northbound and southbound ones get you up much higher into Alaska. That's a benefit of those one-ways. Those one-ways also give you the opportunity to go to Denali National Park. A lot of cruise tours combinations work with these one-way cruises where you will spend 4 days in Denali and then add on the cruise either before or after. So that's the main purpose of the one-ways. That's where you see most of the people going on them. You rarely see people going on a one-way and just doing the cruise. There are going to be some of them that do that, but it's primarily for those people that are doing the cruise tour combinations. Now, the other thing you're going to want to think about when you're doing your itinerary research is seeing exactly where you're going. Sometimes I would highly recommend, if you can find a cruise that goes to Glacier National Park, jump on that one. A lot of ships don't get to go to Glacier's National Park. They limit the number of ships that go into it. So if you want to go to Alaska and you want to see some breathtaking, stunning, beautiful locations, definitely look at ones that go to Glacier National Park. Not to say that Tracy Arm isn't beautiful or the Inside Passage voyages aren't beautiful. It's just Glacier National Park is something to behold. There's other things too with your itinerary that you're going to want to look at. You're going to see some going to Hubbard. You're going to see some going to Dawes. You're going to see some going to, as I said, Glacier National Park. And then there's different possibilities for the ports that you might go. Some might go to Sitka. Some might go to Icy Straits. There's different things you're going to want to look at. I usually tend to stay away from cruises that go to Icy Straits. I just don't find an appealing port. It seems like it was made just specifically for the cruise lines. I like going to ones that go to Sitka. Those are options that I like to choose because Sitka to me is a beautiful city and I just don't get to go see it enough. Most of the times when you go to Alaska, you're going to see Juneau, you're going to see Skagway, and you're going to see Ketchikan. It's rare to see Sitka. It's nice to see it when it's there. So definitely take a look at the itineraries. The itineraries can affect the cost of your cruise. Things that are going to Glacier National Park are definitely going to cost you more money. But if it's the first time and the only time you think you're ever going to go to Alaska, try to get on that cruise. Now, one other thing that you're going to want to think about when you're planning your Alaska cruise is your cabin choice. Cabin choice will drastically affect your cost on Alaska, more so than any other itinerary, because balconies are a huge premium on Alaska cruises. People just love sitting out on their balcony and watching the beautiful scenery go by, and those price points for balconies tend to get skyrocketed really fast on Alaska cruises. You can usually find some really good deals for inside cabins and ocean view cabins on Alaska cruises. I love using those options for me personally because I have no problem leaving my cabin to go see some beautiful scenery go by either on the deck or in an observation lounge. On the other hand, my wife, she's not keen about it. She now tells me I am not going to Alaska again unless it's always in a balcony. I'm like, okay, well, this is what my life is about now. Happy wife, happy life. So I'm always doing the balcony. I'm always paying the freight. I could understand why people love it. My wife is one of them. Otherwise, save some money if you can. And if it doesn't mean so much to you, definitely save some money. Look at those inside cabins. Look at those ocean view cabins. You will save a nice amount of money by choosing those. Now, the next big thing you're going to want to think about when you go to Alaska is your excursions. You're going to go through some serious sticker shock when looking at excursions at Alaska. They tend to be the most pricey excursions that you can ever find. But you also got to remember, some of these experiences are something that you'll never ever do before. So don't just discount them because of the pricing. When else can you ever fly on a helicopter to the top of a glacier? Yeah, it's going to be expensive, but it's going to be one heck of an experience. Other things you can do is take float planes and see the scenery like you have never ever could imagine. Just a beautiful bird's eye view of some of the most stunning locations ever. Just phenomenal types of things you can do at Alaska. Just going to cost you money. You want to do some dog sledding? It's going to cost you some money. But there are ways to kind of do Alaska and save some money. We have done this many times, folks, and there are good ways to kind of circumvent those really expensive things. Not to say that the expensive things aren't worth the money, but there are ways to kind of see Alaska on your own terms with a little bit more budget in mind. For one thing, did you know you can actually get to Mendenhall Glacier from Juneau, Alaska using the city buses? You could save a ton of money getting to Mendenhall and going to see that location on a really good price point. Just remember, the buses run on a certain schedule and you need to really plan ahead of time to know what bus you need to get on in order to get back to your ship on time. You don't want to be a pure runner in Alaska. It's going to be very expensive to catch up to the ship in Alaska. Another cool little tip on saving some money in Alaska, especially when, say, you go to Skagway, you can actually rent a car in Skagway and go up the trail, the Yukon Trail, via car and see some beautiful scenery. The same type of scenery that you're going to see on that railroad, but you're going to be doing the driving. And if you can share that expense with another couple, you're going to see some beautiful things at a much better price point. Just think of different creative ways to kind of do Alaska. Do some research. There's wonderful travel blogs out there. We can help you with those type of decisions, and we can also help you find those really cool excursions that you want to do. And sometimes cheaper than the cruise line. So again, another good reason to use a good travel agent. They can help you find these things and get these type of things arranged for you to kind of make your Alaska vacation your own. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with Alaska is something that everybody has to do when they go to Alaska. You're going to be packing a lot of clothes, a lot of things, a lot of stuff that you normally never pack for when you go on a cruise. And with that comes additional baggage. And because you now have additional baggage, guess what? The cost of your flights are going to increase, especially if you don't have any kind of loyalty rewards to kind of lower your cost for baggage on your aircrafts. You got to remember, you're dealing with 30-degree temperature swings. You're dealing with bad weather, cold weather, with water, with rain. You're going to need to bring those type of things to protect you from those elements. Hats, gloves, ponchos, you name it. Those are the things you're going to have to bring with you. And then also, depending upon the excursions you're going to do, you might need to have some more sturdy boots for yourself to wear. It's just something you're going to have to think about. Excursions can plan into this. Your actual Alaska cruise is going to plan into this. If you're doing a one-way and going up to Denali, that's going to add to your packing. Just know that packing is going to influence the cost of your trip because you're just going to be packing more. So there you go, folks. That's our primer for planning your Alaska cruise. I hope you enjoyed this video. There was a ton of information. I hope you got good value out of this information. If you did get good value out of this video, please think about giving us a big thumbs up on this video. It really, really does help the YouTube algorithm. And if you have any questions at all about planning an Alaska trip, leave a comment down below. We love comments and we always answer to all our comments. And one last time, if you haven't become a member of this Cruise Seekers community, think about subscribing, turn that notification bell on. We would love for you to do that, and it is so appreciated. Thank you so much. So until we talk again next time, this is Rob from Cruise Seekers reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas and Alaska. Bye now.